What's happening, all you cool cats and kittens? My name is Alfredo Mancuso, and today I'm going to be giving you guys 5 life hacks that are going to save your life or that of your BMX, whichever comes first. But before we do so, make sure you smash that like button or subscribe to the channel and leave me a little love. Whether it's a little fist pump, some horns, or a little wave, just let me know you're out there. I'm gonna put these in order from the most annoying to the least annoying, just so we get it out of the way. But let's cover the things that drive me nuts. Riding for, working at, and even owning a bike shop has made me super critical of a lot of little noises on a bike. So let's go over the very first one. So the first pet peeve of mine are grips. They come in a variety of different sizes, colors, patterns, and textures. But when they're designed, they're meant to go a particular way. These are the S&M Hoder grips. And these are tiny little S&M shields that are supposed to follow this very specific mushroom pattern. So mine are only twisted, but a lot of you guys will have something called throttle grip. And that's where the grip in itself actually turns and it feels like you're riding a motorcycle and you're throttling. On a Harley, very cool. In BMX, not very cool. So how do we fix a throttle, or in my case, the fact that they're just twisted? Well, it's actually pretty simple. And I'm gonna assume the majority of you guys don't have brakes, but if you do, we'll do the brake technique. It doesn't change anything for you guys without them. You're gonna pull the grip back and you're gonna just roll it onto itself, much like you would maybe your sock, or I don't know what else you'd be rolling, but whatever it is that you roll, you do that. So you just roll it on itself. Now, if you have throttle, all it really means is that there's either a little bit of moisture, some dirt, or some particle that got in between the grip and the handlebar. So all you gotta do is get the bottom of your shirt and just clean that area, and then also clean the grip where you rolled it. Then we're gonna start rolling it back, and then what you wanna do is overcompensate for wherever it was rolled. Mine had a good roll at the halfway mark, so I'm gonna twist it and then start unrolling it. And as you can see, it's starting to get its shape back. This might take you a little while depending on how soft or how messed up your grips are, but with a little bit of patience, you'll get it right back. So now I just unrolled it just to see where we're at. And now you can see that there's this crease that formed right in the middle. And to fix that, you can either start stretching it back and forth, and this is where the brake technique kind of hinders you because you're limited to this small space. If you're brakeless, you don't have to worry about it. You can stretch your grip all the way down to where your bar curves. But for me, I'm limited to this area, so it makes it a little more difficult, but it's not that bad, guys. I need my squeakies, and some of you guys at home need them too. To fix that little spot where it just basically got creased up, what I do is roll it back to that point, and then start rolling it back pretty slow. And while you're doing it with your thumb, you want to push it from underneath the roll. That way it gets out. The other thing you can do is put your finger right underneath the grip and stretch it. Basically, what you're doing is adding separation between the bar and the grip. And now you can start twisting it back now that the crease is gone. And then lo and behold, we're back. If you have brakes and it's going over your lever, then all you have to do is keep twisting it and into the pattern that you're trying to get it back to. Again, mine is supposed to be pretty straight. Let's see how it turned out. Not too shabby. And it feels a lot better. The reason for that is that sometimes when it does twist a lot, it'll crease up and form a little either indentation or a little mound, and that is uncomfortable. Now we're gonna repeat the process on the left end. For you guys at home that don't have brakes, this will be similar to what both of the sides would be like. For those of you guys that do have brakes, the lever will usually be here on the right and not on the left. Unless you're my homies out in England, then it'll be on the left. Then you have to just follow step 1. So as you can see on this side, my grip is a little more tattered than it was on the right side. And the reason for that is that since there's no lever, the grip got stretched out a little further. Area where there was like a mound or where the creasing formed, my hand just throttled it a lot harder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it back down a size, and then we're gonna twist this up and over so that I have a new place to grip from, and that'll actually extend the life of these grips. All right, let's roll this back again. So roll, roll, roll. And then we're gonna see where it's twisting. So I can see that the shield wants to go right here, and let's make sure all the patterns are in that similar straight line, or as close as we can get it. So that looks a little better. And we keep stretching this guy and turning it. So as you can see, from where it was earlier, it was really twisted. Now, it kind of follows a little lazy S, so we can still fix that. At the same time, I want to start twisting the grip down a bit so that the part that's mostly worn down is now down below. Okay, so now, I don't know if you can see this at home, but it's curled a little too much. So now we'll roll it back and fix this center area. Also, might as well just clean it since we're in here, just to make sure there's no grass, dirt, or anything else, maybe some moisture. So now we're gonna twist it again a little bit. Kind of give it that counter spin. All right, yeah, now it's a little better. If it's too stretched, you can start just wiggling it back and forth. And now it almost feels like that flat spot is gone. Not too bad. While we're down here, and if you ever see that your bar ends are coming apart or are missing altogether, make sure to put bar ends on. And if you want to get them out, what you could do is ask your parents for help if you're young, but if you're of age, get a wine bottle opener and get the cork remover, spin it into here and pull your bar end out. I'll do a video on how to do that, but for now, let's get back to just the grips. Now, the next thing that drives me crazy when it's loose is my headset. For a lot of you beginners at home, this might be the first introduction to fixing a problem that you had no idea you even had. So what is a headset? So essentially, it's the bearings that go in between the fork, your frame, and your stem. So right here, right in this area. So there's two bearings that are actually sitting on the frame on these cups. So you need the right amount of pressure from your compression bolt, which is up here, and your pinch bolts, which hold the stem. So mine is actually pretty tight, but for the sake of this demonstration, I'll show you guys how to do it. If you have a gyro, I'll show you that technique. If you have a straight cable, you don't really have to worry about it too much. And if you have no brakes, this means squat to you. Let's begin for the homies out there with brakes. So what you're gonna do is squeeze your brakes, then place your two fingers underneath the gyro, release the lever, and these two little narps will come out from both sides. You remove those, and bam, your gyro is now released, and now you can start loosening up your compression bolt and your pinch bolts. For the majority of the bikes that have been made in the last 5 to 10 years, all you're gonna need are a 6mm Allen key for the two pinch bolts that are on the back of your stem, or sometimes there are some stems that have a 5mm or a standard bolt. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna just need a 6mm Allen for the back. Now the compression cap, which is the top one, a lot of the bikes these days do take the 6mm. Some of them will take an 8mm, and my favorite is the one where you put a socket straight into the compression bolt. As far as tools go, I always use the Shadow Conspiracy multi-tool. It has everything you need all in one place. But for you guys at home, all you need is a ratchet with a 3/4 inch socket. And for some of you guys, you may need an 8mm for the compression bolt, but I ride the Sabrosa forks and they come with one for a 6mm, assuming you guys have the 8mm one at home. Okay, so I've assembled my 6mm Allen choice from the Shadow tool, and now I'm gonna loosen the two pinch bolts. I've made a mess. So now we're gonna loosen the pinch bolts one at a time. The majority of today's stems come with the pinch bolts that are counter set. So that means that both of the screw heads aren't on the same side. So we have one on the left that we loosen, and then one on the right. If your stem bolts are on the same side, that's not a big deal. You obviously can just loosen both of them. But the reason that a lot of the modern ones come this way is to distribute even force and to save some space on the stem so they can grind it down even shorter to save some weight. Now, you just want to loosen these enough so you can start moving the stem on your fork. You don't have to take them off completely. The next thing is a compression cap. Once you loosen up the pinch bolts, the compression cap should come off pretty easily. I see a lot of you guys at home trying to loosen the compression cap at first, and some stems will actually pinch the compression cap and it won't let you loosen it up. So make sure you loosen the pinch bolts first. All right, once you break it loose, it should come off pretty easily, and then I'll be able to show you what it looks like. So that's your compression cap. So now we remove the stem, and for me, it comes with, oh dang. Oh no, it's going far. Come back. Wow, it's still rolling, it hasn't fallen over at all. That's crazy. It made it a good 12 feet. So this is live footage of my bike with no bra on, as you can tell. Oh no, now she's just trying to show it all. So there we go. We got the fork. There's a little raised lip here called the race, and that's where your bearing is gonna sit on. This bearing on the bottom is already in the frame, and I don't wanna rip it out, but the top one usually comes out pretty easily. That's what it looks like. Now my hands are gonna be filthy because of this, but it's okay. Mine has a good tiny amount of grease to make it so it spins nice and smoothly. We're gonna reinsert everything, make sure that the bearing is sitting properly. So that means that the bearing should be sitting on that race. Drop it down. So once you've taken it apart, you want to assess to make sure there's no dirt that got in between the bearing, the frame, the fork. Clean all of this out, apply a thin layer of grease again, and then, assuming nothing's broken, you should be able to put everything back together again. So we'll put the compression cap on. You want to finger tighten it first. You don't want to ever use your tool without placing the threads right, then you'll strip it. And then your parents are going to want to murder you when you want them to buy you some new forks when you really only stripped the cap. Weird science, I know. Okay, so we're gonna tighten up this compression cap. I have the gyro a little bit in the way for you guys at home. It should be a little easier if you don't have brakes, or at least not a gyro. Now, once your compression bolt is nice and snug, you wanna lift up your frame a little bit and give it a spin to see if the bars are spinning freely. If they are, great success. If they're not, go back, take it apart again, clean everything up very thoroughly, use a rag, get rid of all the dirt, all that grease is in there, put a new layer of grease, put everything back together, and then try it again. As you guys may know, your boy can really go in depth and talk about something for ages. As a matter of fact, that video goes on for another 20 minutes. So I thought I'd cut it short here, and I'm gonna do part 2 of this video in the next few days. So what did we cover today? Part 1, how to fix throttle grip, how to fix grips that are twisted, and then we go over the loose headset, loose pinch bolts, or loose compression. In the following video, we'll continue talking about the stem and the headset, how you may or may not have ruined your headset, or even worst case scenario, ovalize your frame, how to tighten up your chain, and how to center your wheel. Once we get through all that, then you'll know you're a real bike pro. And your bike is gonna feel like $1,000,000, and then you'll owe me a finder's fee of that $1,000,000 that you've made. Nah, all I really want is for you guys to like this video, maybe share it if you really liked it, and leave me a little fist pump. And just so I know you're really listening and making it to the end of the video, I want you to go into the comments and write, Alfredo, thank you for helping me fix my bike. Now it's dialed, now I'm gonna go shred. Write that a few times. All things gotta come to an end, so I gotta go. Hope everyone is safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.